Hello, welcome back. Sorry that I'm late. Sometimes things just happen that are beyond your control and you just have to give into it. So here I am now. Little sad news. We lost a chicken this week to a hawk. I wasn't here at the house. Willie was. He said he heard all the chickens going crazy and he ran over to the thing because he thought maybe a wolf or a fox was in there, and there was a big hawk. By the time Willie got over here, the hawk had killed one of the black chickens and he ran out of the coop. For now, we're going to keep the chickens locked up until the threat seems to be gone. We've watched the hawk circle a little bit, and we always worried about the Yorkies with the hawk, but now we know there's a real threat, so we just got to keep our eyes open. This week started, we were still in Puerto Rico, so these are some details that I left out of the last vlog of in and around, walking around Puerto Rico. I have thousands of these little details, but I only included here just a few. The old doorways, the details in the old time construction. Some of these doors are hundreds of years old, and just to see how they're made and to see how they deteriorate, it's great to see these things. It just inspires my workflow. I have to make a door for the house here. I have a couple of ideas that I got directly from there in Puerto Rico. One thing that was so nice while I was away, so many people tweeted me and said, "Oh, you're in Puerto Rico, can we get together?" And unfortunately, I didn't have time to put together a genuine meetup, but I got a chance to meet my new friends over at the ADC Makerspace, and I did get a chance to go over to ADC Makerspace and meet some new friends.
We're at ADC Makers in San Juan, Puerto Rico. My name is Darien Delgado. I'm one of the founders, along with my wife Maria. Thanks to Jimmy to come by and check out our space. We heard he was here in Puerto Rico and having a good time. We just want to show him a place where he can come and play.
Members can find you how?
ADCmakers.com, or they can find us on Facebook and Instagram as ADC Makers as well.
Is this Old San Juan or is this an industrial?
We're in Old San Juan because the Old San Juan is an island that's separated by two bridges.
Oh, right.
And so we are in the Old San Juan,
right.
Isleta, Old San Juan.
And is that the Capitol building, that big, beautiful white building?
Yes.
Yeah, so like 20 feet away from the Capitol building. Yep. Cool, man. Thank you. So if you're in and around Puerto Rico and you want a place to work, go look up my buddies over there at ADC Makerspace. My Core 77 video this week is going to be this sort of fruitcake of epoxy. Encapsulates a whole bunch of small thin branches that I got from the woods here, and I'm going to spin that on the lathe. I'm going to do that today. Today is Saturday. It's like noon. I'm sorry I'm so late. See, he's mad at me. I won't let him out. The big job this week included making 62 frames from my buddies over at brownphoto.com. They're the guys that did the tintype class here, Sev and Amore. They are the wet plate photography guys, and they asked me if I would make these frames based on the video that I did for Make about 6 months ago. Because of my trip to Puerto Rico, everything was kind of on super fast track, so that's why this video kind of came up spontaneously in this job. We also experimented this week with making some engravings to make some stamps. I made Taylor's stamp here to emboss her leather. That's going to be the logo at the bottom part of back of her chair. So that's Taylor's new branding, literally in branding iron. I'm going to make one in metal ultimately so we could leave a hot stamp. But right now we're just wetting the leather, impressing it, and then pulling away. It gives it a nice three-dimensional look. Brett's been my new shop guy. He's hanging around helping us here in the shop. He's also helping me out a little bit with some of the director of photography and a little bit of editing. And Brett's brand is Skull and Spade. So we engraved his brand as well to do the same thing with leather. But since it was a little bigger and he might want to heat stamp it, so we did it with brass. So that's just a test. We might ultimately do it on the Tormac here. The next thing I'm working on is the Star Key Hub. It's going to be available on my store. It's going to come with 3 rivets, and there's going to be a video on my channel when the time is right showing you how to make your own star key with this hub. And the rivets will be like a little tap hammer, set the rivets. So look forward to that. I'm just still trying to get the design perfect. I had a shop assistant this week, my new friend Gil. Take a look at Gil, and if you're in Melbourne, look him up. I want to show you some new gifts I got from my buddy Gil. I got a little bit of axle grease. We're going to use that on the truck in upstate New York. Check out this new drone I got. I'm going to hot glue my camera on it and throw it into the woods.
My name is Gil Poznanski. My friends call me the Kosher Tony Stark, and I'm visiting from Melbourne, Australia.
Gil wrote me an email and said, can I come hang out for a couple days while I'm touring America? You're in search of maker spaces and maker resources?
That's right. This
So
year,
that you could bring them home.
I actually work for the city of Melbourne, and I'm what they call the Creative Technologies Activator.
That's
I have,
cool.
I have my own makerspace in a library at the dock, in the Docklands. If you come and visit, come down, say hello, ask for me. I'd love to say hello to everyone. And we actually run a makerspace teaching people how to 3D print, how to use electronics, Arduino, how to make things with textiles, programming. If you're creative, it's all free of charge at the library, funded by the city of Melbourne.
I just took a taste of this. I felt like I squirted silicone right on my tongue.
Definitely an acquired taste. The other thing I was going to say is that if you're interested in seeing some of the stuff that I've done with Jimmy in the last week, check out my YouTube.
Yep.
It's Gil Poznanski. Help me out. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers.
Yep.
So, maybe make this guy look good and see how many subscribers I could get.
And Gil's got a couple of videos from this week here in the shop, so there's some good stuff. Take a look.
Definitely.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Gil, thank you very much. It was great to meet you and hang out with you, and your energy is just amazing. And this is what I love about the maker community. People that are as enthusiastic and willing to meet, learn, get to know people, get to know processes, just fully immerse yourself. So thank you, Gil. I did have a chance this week to go hang out with my dad a little bit, and our conversation got cut short, but I'm going to try and do this more often. Whenever I'm with him, I'm just going to try and get a couple of words of wisdom, maybe a story or two. So here's some chit chat with my dad. What is this? You in the...
I found it in the house. I have no idea if it's real or make-believe.
Does it come off?
Yeah, I put it on so I can give it to Kathleen.
You watching anybody else on YouTube besides
No, I
you?
watch livolsi.
Oh, you been watching Bill?
Yeah, try to follow all the guys on... I like to make stuff. I really do. I'm a fan.
What have you been making lately?
I haven't been taking the winter off because I can't stand with the finger now. I had the finger accident.
Let's see the finger. It's cold, right? It hurts?
Yeah, and oh my God, you can't. I used to wrap it in Band-Aids and all. And I never wear gloves. I never wore gloves when I was a firefighter. I just don't like gloves. And I bought a couple of pairs of gloves and just cut the finger off, and I use them as a prophylactic on my finger.
Let me see your hand. Hold your hand up. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's an amazing job. He did stitching it together.
Let me see this, though. But you still got a fingernail? Does it grow?
Yeah.
Did your doctor
I keep
say?
it short. I keep cutting.
I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you got any good tips?
I wish I had a tip for my finger.
That's a funny joke.
My brother was a fantastic Finnish carpenter. He learned from a cousin of mine who was a master. He wound up becoming a very, I would say, a millionaire builder. He built some of the biggest skyscrapers in Manhattan.
Who's that, James?
James DiResta, James Corrin DiResta. He started working for a company in the World's Fair in 1964 and wound up owning the company when the World's Fair closed. And he became, like I say, he started building skyscrapers. So anyway, he taught my brother after the war, and my brother was an excellent wood Finnish carpenter. He used to teach all the guys in the firehouse. He was the city fireman how to cut Crown Cove. Nobody knew how to cut Crown Cove.
But he would do it by hand with a handsaw.
Yeah, with an old wooden miter box. And
Yeah.
if any of you are familiar with Crown Cove, the whole tip with Crown Cove is you cut it upside down.
Yeah.
And then we used to cope. They don't do it now with the new miter boxes with the multimeter gauges on them. You can do all the cutting.
You used to do like the one that would go to the wall, cut the one at an angle, and
Yeah.
then cope it, and then go into
Yeah.
it.
You would cope away. You would cut away from the miter, and then you coped out the back.
Right.
And then one fit right over the other. And I used to cope everything: base, molding, a little half round, quarter round.
Right.
And I still do it. People say, "What are you doing?" But that's what we were taught.
And then what is the reason for coping as opposed to just doing two bevels?
Well, the old days with the you know, you didn't have the perfection that you had now with the metal miter box.
Right.
Or chop saw. I called them miter boxes, but
Right.
the chop saw. The chop saw, there was a guy, I can't think of it, that makes videos, and he used to teach. I went to his courses several times, and he was fantastic. He showed you what to do with the, but the whole trick, even with the
chop saw or the wooden box was upside down. Right. And you cut away. And then you flip it over, and then you coped out one, and you ran one flush to the wall, right to the end of the wall, and the other one fit over it. It didn't two pieces there didn't touch in the corner.
It hit it perpendicular.
Yeah. And the big thing was with mitering too, it overcame like if it wasn't a 90-degree corner.
Oh,
you know?
so you can cope it, and then
Yeah,
it'll be
you
a
can
perfect.
cope it, and you can take more away and let it lay in better.
Oh.
Sears came out, I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but Sears came out a couple of years ago with a miter box where you didn't move the blade to make the miter, you moved the back.
The fence.
The fence.
Right.
But it was a disaster. I mean, it was tough cutting long pieces of wood. You really had to make outfeed tables on both sides.
and everything else. I had it. I used it once. I backed my car over it. I never used it again, and I've never seen one in use again. I have one outside. It's rusty. If anybody wants it.
Tip of the day. Tip of the day. Clean your driveway.
But I when I was working, and I worked with all the guys in the firehouse, I taught a million different guys. The kids used to hate my guts when of course, I was always yelling, screaming, and everything. I always looked out for the customer. I looked out for the contractor that paid us, and I didn't want any fooling around at all. But every one of those kids came to me later on. They called me Mr. D. Mr. D, man, you taught me this. Mr. D, man, you taught me that. And I really appreciate and like I say, I'm still, like I think I idolized Jimmy. These kids idolized me at the time because of all the tips. And every single day I would say, tip of the day.
Yeah.
And we still come up with it. My friend Kevin Canberg and I, we worked together for years.
Yep.
Another fireman. And
Yeah.
that was his father's favorite line, tip of the day.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, most of those tips I do, most of them I learn from you.
Well, that's it. Yeah, no, like I said, you pass on. Like I say, Uncle Tom and Uncle Carlo, who built hundreds of houses in Rockaway Beach, mansions.
Yeah.
And then my brother and I was 15, 16 years old in high school. I used to meet my brother after work at one of and we finished the basements, we finished the attics. That's what Anthony and I used to do.
Well, my brother was an amazing guy and tenacious. He'd never give up. There was not. If there was an inside corner that wasn't 90 degrees, 95 or something, he made sure that molding fit like it was one piece of wood. And I still, to this day, he's gone 14 years, and I still think back of when he showed me this and showed me that.
And that's what I think about when you showed me stuff. I
Yeah,
think of that all the
one
time.
of Jimmy's friends was one of my best helpers, aside from Jimmy, of course. But Johnny Sarro, to this day, the kid still we're very close friends, and he's like a fourth son. And he still refers to the day I taught him this, or I taught him that.
Yep.
And
Uh-oh.
hold on.
Someone's here. To be continued. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me this week. And in the words of David Picciuto, make something. That's what I said.